Let's talk about the Apple Card. So I've been using the Apple Card since mid-August when it came out and was available to regular customers like me. So that's about 4 to 5 months now that I've been using the Apple Card as my main card. And what I wanted to do in this video is just talk to you about my experience using the card, my experience with the cashbacks, and just some of the things that I like about the card, but also some of the things that I don't like about the card. So what is the Apple Card? If you haven't heard, Apple released its own credit card now. They partnered with Goldman Sachs and MasterCard to deliver this card to customers. But basically, it's meant to be a digital credit card. So something that you always use on Apple Pay that provides some cash back. You're getting 3% cash back if you use it at an Apple store, 2% cash back if you use the card with Apple Pay, and 1% cash back if you use the physical card. And I'll talk about the physical card in a little bit. But yeah, just wanted to give my thoughts on a few things. The application process. What's the experience like using the card? Which just right off the bat is pretty silly. It's a credit card. What experience is there? You tap or you swipe and that's it. And then finally, like, this thing is a credit card. So how good is it as a credit card? So I'll provide timestamps as well in case you're interested in a particular section. You can go ahead and check that out. First, application process. So this was one of the easiest credit card application processes I've done. It's all done within the app, so it's really painless. I mean, they already have a lot of information like your address information and things like that from your Apple account. So they just ask for a little bit more details that you would find in a typical credit card application. The cool thing here is that once you apply for the card within the app, if you're approved, the digital card automatically shows up on your Apple Pay. So it's ready to use like instantly. You'll get the physical card within a week, and that comes with its own packaging and really Apple-like unboxing experience. That's the application process. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. Apply through the app, you get the digital card immediately, and then you'll get your physical card. So let's talk about the physical card. So this titanium card is what Apple provides you, and it's pretty sturdy, very minimal. So you have your name, the Apple logo, Goldman Sachs, MasterCard, really basic stuff. It's a credit card, and it's no different than any other credit card that you might use. You swipe it, you put the chip in. The thing it doesn't have is tap to pay, which I think is probably gonna come in the Apple Card too. So keep an eye open for that. The digital card itself, it's all held within the app. In the app, you're able to see balance, your spending by category, spending by week, spending by month. It's really useful, and the way that it shows the vendors is really helpful as well. You don't get those random point of sale terminal names where you're trying to figure out what you spent the money on. If there's one thing that they did really well is helping the users know what their card was used for. That's something that I really appreciate. So like you saw on the physical card, there's no credit card number. There's no expiration date. There's nothing on here. And that's because all of it is within the app. So here, if you go into card information, you're able to see the name that's on your card. You're able to see the actual credit card number, which is helpful if you want to buy anything online and requires you to input your credit card number. And you get the expiration, security code. And what's cool here is that the card number itself is different than the card number that's assigned to the physical card. So the physical card has its own virtual account number. Whenever you're using Apple Pay, there's a specific device account number that's assigned to that, so that's its own card number as well. And then there's the actual card number that you'll use to make payments or input that online to buy something or make a payment for something. So there's a lot of different things going on there. I don't know enough to explain how all of that is working, but I do know that there's different credit card numbers associated with your account just depending on how you go about making a purchase. Okay, so let's talk about the experience. And if you're using Apple Pay, there's really no extravagant experience. People aren't gonna come up to you and congratulate you for using an Apple Card. It's just a credit card. So if you go to the grocery store, use Apple Pay, nobody's gonna make a fuss about you using your Apple Card. It's no big deal. So you might be getting that 2% cash back, but other than that, you're just buying something. no different than using any other credit card. What I would have to say about the experience of using the Apple Card as opposed to any other card, nobody really cares. The only people that do care are people who either want it or they're considering getting it and they wanted to see what the card does look like, or somebody who just like, I mean, it's a heavy duty card, so. All right, what could they have done better? Oh boy. I feel like a lot of the things that they could have done better are a result of things that they've promoted or advertised as features, which is a very Apple-like thing to do. Does anybody remember you're holding it wrong? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. So this card is nice, metal, shiny. You almost don't want to use it. And one experience that I had, I was going to to a mall around the area and I needed to park, and you had to pay for parking here. So they just have a regular parking meter. I put the card in to pay, and then I hear this like screech that's just like, ugh. So I slowly take it back out and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put this card up, gonna take one of my other plastic cards that I don't really care for and use that instead. And it got me thinking, like, why do I feel like that about a credit card? Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just Apple saying, hey, this is precious, you should take care of it, you should, I don't know, it's really weird. But once I had that experience, I just like, I mean, it does look nice, so you don't want to get it all messed up and scratched. I don't know. It makes you feel like you don't want to use it in certain instances, like the parking meter. I will say the transaction categorization has been pretty helpful. It's similar to something that you would find in like a Mint or a Personal Capital app, but it's within the Wallet app. So they offer categories that you would find in other apps: food and drinks, entertainment, shopping, transportation, services, health and fitness, or health and wellness, things like that. So things that you can't do right now, you can't add custom categories, so you kind of have to depend on the category that Apple has given. And there have been times where just transactions that I've had are put to the wrong category. Still, you can't add your own custom categories. You can't reassign the category that a transaction goes to without reaching out to Apple and letting them know. So that's a bummer. I feel like that would be very helpful for people who like to track their spending, and also for people who like to stick to a budget. Speaking of budget, I feel like Apple really missed the ball, or maybe it's something that they're working on, but adding budgeting features would be super helpful here. So you're able to track all of your spending based on the different categories, based on the different vendors, but it would be really cool if you had a way to budget how much you want to spend in each different category. That way you have something to look at whenever you're reviewing these transactions, and you don't just see the balance by category increasing every time you use the card. I feel like that would be a very useful feature for users like me who have been using this for their daily card. And it might also make the Wallet app a little bit more competitive to companies like Mint or Personal Capital, who have this sort of features already available and let you connect different accounts to their software as well. And speaking of Mint and Personal Capital, I use Mint to track all of my expenses from all of my various credit cards, bank accounts, investments, and stuff like that. And currently, there's no way to export transactions from your Apple Card and load them into Mint. You can't go into Mint, add an account, and select Apple Card. There's no way for you to export a CSV or an Excel file of your Apple Card transactions and load them into Mint. The only really option you have is looking at your PDF bank statements, and that's not very helpful. But that's one of the things that just makes it harder to track my spending on my Apple Card related to all of my other cards and bank accounts and stuff like that. So that's really a bummer. There's a lot of forums out there asking for when this will be available, and there's no really clear answer yet. So, is this a good credit card? That really depends on what your goal is. I would say that if you're just looking for one card to use for your main spending, this is a good card, but there are better cards out there that offer similar or even better cash back, but more importantly, they offer additional services that aren't tied to your spending or anything like that. And the services that I'm more so talking about are things like cell phone protection, extended warranty on purchases that you make, travel protection, car insurance while you're traveling for rental cars. Those are all things that you don't get with the Apple Card. And even though the Apple Card is part of the MasterCard network, you don't get those types of benefits. So for me, if I'm buying a camera, like the one I'm recording on right now, I'm using something like my Costco City Card, which provides an extended warranty on the camera itself. I mean, that's all up to you. There's definitely more credit cards out there that offer similar or even better cashback than the Apple Card. But then again, the Apple Card is for people who want an Apple Card. So if you're not really into the Apple ecosystem or really into Apple products, chances are you're probably not going to be interested in the Apple Card. And if you were to put this Apple Card and compare it to other credit cards that offer similar things, you might find that the Apple Card might not be the best option out there. So really, that's it for my review. I just wanted to share my experience on what using the Apple Card has been like, things that I like about it, things that I didn't like about it, and whether or not it makes a good card for you. Like I said, it just depends on what your goals are out of a credit card and what you're trying to get out of it. As a basic everyday card, if you're interested in getting it, it does a good job, but there are other options out there that might provide you more benefits and additional cash back. So that's it for this video. If you like this video or the topics that I covered here, go ahead and subscribe. It's free, so if you're trying to save money for 2020, this is definitely one of those things that'll save you money. Also, click the bell so that you're notified when I post new videos. Let me know what you think about the Apple Card down below. There's a lot of polarizing opinions. I'm really just interested to see what you think. Do you have it? What's your experience with it? If you don't have it, cool. All right, so I'll end this here and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.